Deep inside a candy factory in Fairfield, California, workers are guarding something most people would never guess takes over a week to finish. A single jelly bean. Not a batch, not a barrel. One tiny bean, born from boiling sugar, can spend anywhere from 7 to 14 days moving through this building before it's ready for your hand. By the time this video ends, you'll understand why something so small takes so long to make, why a company that ships over 15 billion beans a year still refuses to let a machine make the final call, and why the beans that don't make the cut end up with their own name entirely. To understand why this process takes so long, you have to go back further than you'd expect. This isn't some new candy trend. The roots of this company trace back to 1869, when a candy maker named Gustav Golitz first started the operation. And by 1898, his family had turned it into a real commercial candy business. What's remarkable is that this is still a family-run operation today, now on its 5th generation, and the company's actual CEO is a descendant of that very same family. That kind of continuity matters because the process you're about to see hasn't just been engineered by machines. It's been refined by generations of the same hands. It starts with something that doesn't look like candy at all. In massive steel kettles, workers combine sugar, corn syrup, cornstarch, and water into a thick, glossy liquid called slurry. It's cooked at high heat until it thickens into a syrupy base, the foundation every single flavor will be built on. But here's where things get really interesting. This isn't one giant batch destined to become identical beans. Each flavor gets its own small kettle, and into that slurry goes real fruit puree, juice concentrate, or other natural ingredients whenever possible. Watermelon starts with bright pink juice. Coconut ones get actual coconut flakes stirred directly in. Peach beans get real peach puree, and pear beans get juice pressed from actual pears. Even the fiery jalapeno bean gets real chili blended into that base. With over 100 flavors in the current lineup, that means over 100 separate recipes, each one mixed, tested, and cooked slightly differently before it ever becomes a bean shape at all. Once the flavored slurry is ready, it gets piped into the depositing room, and this is where the process starts to look genuinely industrial. A machine pipes the hot liquid into trays filled with cornstarch, and pressed into that starch are thousands of tiny bean-shaped molds. A single tray can hold over 1,000 bean impressions at once. The starch isn't just there to shape the candy. It also keeps the soft centers from sticking to the tray as they cool. Once filled, the trays are wheeled away into a resting room and left overnight, sometimes for a day or two, so the liquid centers can firm up into that familiar chewy jelly bean texture. Picture rows and rows of these trays sitting in near silence, hundreds of thousands of soft candy centers slowly setting in the dark, waiting for the next stage most customers never think about. What happens next might surprise you. Once the centers are firm, they don't go straight to packaging. They go through what's essentially a bath. The beans pass through a steam treatment and a light sugar shower, a step that helps prep the surface of each bean so the next stage can actually stick. Because now comes the part that gives these beans their identity and their name in the industry: panning. The firmed-up centers are loaded into massive spinning drums, almost like industrial cement mixers, tumbling hundreds of pounds of beans at a time. Workers stand over these drums, pouring in syrup and sugar in careful, practiced pours, building up a shell, one layer at a time. This is the step most people never get to see, and it's surprisingly hands-on for something happening inside a modern factory. Confectioners dust the tumbling beans with sugar, then follow with another pass of syrup, repeating this layering process over roughly 2 hours. The first coating applied is coarse and granular. Each layer after that gets progressively finer, until the very last pass is a smooth powdered sugar that gives the shell its polish. By the time this panning process finishes, all those layers combined have added around 40% to the size of the original center. That means nearly half of what you're biting into didn't exist when the bean started. It was built up entirely from the outside in, one careful pour at a time. And here's the part that's almost unbelievable inside a modern factory. Workers judge when the beans are ready, not with a sensor, not with a timer, but by sound. As the beans tumble inside those spinning drums, experienced confectioners listen to how they clatter against the metal walls. A trained ear can actually tell when the shell has reached the right thickness just from the noise the beans make while spinning. It's described inside the company as an art form, a skill passed down through generations of the same family. And it's simply not something you can automate away. Once the shell is built, the beans rest yet again, letting everything set before the final touches begin. Then comes the shine. Alternating coats of confectioner's glaze and wax are applied, giving the beans their signature glossy finish, the shine that makes them look almost wet under store lighting. But before any bean earns the right to wear the logo, it has to pass inspection. Workers visually examine batches, checking for color consistency and shape. And yes, they genuinely taste test samples by hand, batch after batch, day after day. Beans that don't meet the standard for color, shape, or flavor don't get thrown away though. Instead, they're sold separately under their own name, marketed as imperfect seconds, turning a manufacturing flaw into its own product line entirely. The beans that do pass move into a printing machine, where the tiny logo is stamped directly onto each individual shell, the final signature of authenticity before it's considered a finished product. From there, beans are sorted by flavor and color and funneled into massive rotating mixing bins, enormous cylindrical drums that blend different colors and flavors together to create the multi-flavor combinations found in bags around the world. Only after that final mix are they weighed out, sealed into packaging, and loaded for distribution to stores across the globe. But the story doesn't end at the factory doors. This company has also built sustainability directly into its production line, running portions of the factory on solar power and recycling water used throughout the manufacturing process. An attempt to make sure that this incredibly detailed, days-long process doesn't come at an unnecessary cost to the planet. And these beans haven't just stayed candy either. They found their way into American political history when a former president developed a well-known taste for them, receiving tons of red, white, and blue beans for his presidential inauguration, cementing this factory's product as more than just candy, but as something woven into pop culture itself. Think about that the next time you grab a handful from the bag. What takes you seconds to eat took this factory up to 2 weeks to create. Slurry, cooked and flavored by hand, using real fruit and real ingredients, molded into starch, dried in silence overnight, coated in layer after layer of syrup and sugar inside spinning drums, judged by ear, polished by hand, tasted personally by a human being, and only then stamped and shipped around the world. It's proof that even the smallest, most overlooked things in life can carry an enormous amount of craftsmanship behind them, hidden in plain sight inside a piece of candy small enough to fit 10 in the palm of your hand. If you enjoyed going behind the scenes of how something this tiny takes this much work to make, hit like, drop a comment telling me what factory or product you want to see explained next, and subscribe for more incredible manufacturing journeys just like this one.